What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, on a lazy Tuesday morning. It's about 10:30. It's the 18th day of October, 2022. It's about 65 degrees and sunny here at Site B. Looks like our gloomy weather has come and gone. Not to say it won't be back. And it's time to take a look at what's going on today in the world of tabletop role-playing. And we have some first-run notes on the Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen thing that's coming out in December, maybe, which then I'm sure will receive its usual round of, hypocritical complaints. Oh no, it's not inclusive enough. Oh no, dragons are racist. Oh no, Lord Soth is a death knight, and death is something we don't talk about in D&D anymore. So this is going to be the introduction to the war as a genre of play for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. So bringing miniature gaming back to D&D, I guess, because, D&D has its beginning of miniature gaming. Miniature gaming is as big as ever, if not larger. Provides character creation rules, highlighting core elements of the Dragonlance setting, including adding the Kender race, which has already been received negatively, new background, stuff like that. It's a 224-page hardcover adventure. It's got war as a rule. It's set in the world of Dragonlance. It's dealing with things like refugees, rumors, how war affects people, but in a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons way. So don't worry, it's not going to be a horrible, awful war filled with misery. It's going to be a happy, fun war because it's, 5th edition. It'll introduce scenarios to bring you up to speed to the world of Dragonlance, and will feature Lord Soth and draconians and dragons, and that's about all we know about it so far. It is going to include, of course, a run of miniatures, similar to Wizards of the Coast's previous skirmish games set in D&D. If you remember, the last time Wizards of the Coast tried to do a skirmish game, the skirmish aspect of the game did not go over very well. I don't think I ever saw anybody playing it, but the figures were amazing. In fact, if anybody remembers about that time, between the skirmish game figures and the regular figures that were coming out, we're talking the pre-painted plastic ones and stuff like that. If the Dungeons and Dragons skirmish figure line at the point in time, compared to the normal figures, actually the skirmish figures were better, which is weird because they were all made by the same people. But if you can remember them, I remember clearly the differences between the skirmish packs. The skirmish packs were usually just blue, and 9 out of 10 times were dedicated to one specific unit. But they did have some blind boxes where you would just go to sort of get those random ones too, and some theme blind boxes. But like if you wanted a complete unit of hobgoblins, you could get them, because you could get a pack of like 8 hobgoblins for probably the same amount of money that a skirmish blind box cost. And they were the same size, but the quality and the sculpts were just better. So I'm hoping for the same thing with this skirmish run. Once we start seeing the figures coming out from it, which should be relatively soon, that they will be as good or better than the pre-painted ones. And also because it's based upon a skirmish system, you'll see a lot, multiple packs of the exact same thing. So if you need 8 hobgoblins or 8 draconians or 8 skeletons, it's a great way to pick up figures that will fill blanks if you just I need 20 skeletons for an encounter I'm running. Oh, here's this pack with, I don't know if it'll be skeletons though, but that's just a good example. It'll probably be draconians. Well, since they're including death knights, I guess we might see some undead. We've already seen one of the figures. We've got the figure of Lord Soth riding a shadow dragon. That's, I think, a $200 figure. That looked amazing. So I'm hoping more of the same. Other than that, we don't know a lot about it. So even though they're claiming this is everything you need to know, we really don't know anything. Now, when it comes out in December, I believe it's still scheduled for December 11th, December 12th. Let's see what day that is. So that's a Saturday. So yeah, Friday or Saturday of December. It's going to be both digital and physical. This is going to be the first of the games. It's both going to have a digital version and a physical version. If you buy the physical version in the stores, you will not get access to the digital version because there's no way that would work. But if you buy the physical copy from Wizards of the Coast directly, then you will also get the digital code, which means you'll be able to download the PDF, all the what are they called? The DLC basically for D&D Beyond, and have first access to the DLC for the VTT when and if the Dungeons & Dragons VTT actually goes live. Other than that, don't know much else about it. Is this going to be the last physical book we see from Wizards of the Coast, considering how they're going to go more digital and how many controversial things are going to be in this one? We already know the Kender received a lot of controversy from the playtest in March. We know the idea of making the knights and mages backgrounds instead of builds also received some controversy. I'm sure we'll have some people upset because Lord Soth is in it, and how dare you have a Death Knight. And I don't know if it's anything like the round of negative responses Spelljammer received over utterly pointless things to be upset about. Space monkeys are racist. We'll probably see the same round of complaints about it. So it'll probably be, it'll come out, and then people will complain, and then they'll be like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't know people were offended by our portrayal of sandwiches in this book. So now we're going to rewrite that whole section and make you buy the book again. Because, 3rd edition and Spelljammer. So that's everything you need to know about this upcoming Spelljammer book, which I believe is scheduled for the 11th and 12th, which is of next month, not next month, December, which is nothing. We know nothing. We have a general idea that it's going to be centric about war, that they're going to present us with how war works in the world of Dragonlance in 5th edition, which means basically because they want 5th edition to be safe, it'll be a nice, friendly, harmless war where we deal with things like refugees and rumors and supply and demand, and feeding I get to play the army cook, and we have these vast armies who nothing really happens to. We'll probably be using some kind of miniature skirmish rule where units don't get killed, they just get knocked out or bonked, or I don't know. I mean, it could be wrong. Maybe they will take a hard left from the whole inclusive, safe D&D road that they've been trying since it's received such negative response, and be like, you know what? This is a war-based skirmish game setting with an adventure. So yeah, this is going to be war. People are going to die. Your troops are going to lose troops. It's like, going to be like Warhammer or War Machine or Malfork or Infinity Bell or whatever. Speaking of war games, did you know that Games Workshop made over $300 million this year so far, as opposed to D&D, which has only made about $100 million this year so far? Yeah, maybe not even that. Wargames are as good. There's also a whole article about wargaming in Iran and card games. So yeah, wargaming's still big for anybody who thinks it's not. Anyways, that's it. What's going on with Dragonlance?